It is Algebra 1, test number 8. Got through lesson 3.2. If you are in my third or my fourth period class, your test will look slightly, your study guide will look slightly different than this one, mainly because of the first 7 problems I actually took off, and I didn't realize until fourth period. So the order will be off for you. You should still have all of the problems if you're in fourth period. Fifth period, you'll have yours will look just like this because I'll make better copies for you. But third period, make sure you uh, get rid of the first 7 problems and add in the ones that look different when you're watching this video. The first one, number 1, again, if you're in third or fourth period, it'll be number 8. Says name the property for 4 plus 0 is equal to 4. What is it on the left side, and then what is it on the right side? What is it on the left and what is it on the right? That's right, it doesn't change. It's 4 when it starts and it's 4 when it finishes. So that one is the identity property. And that's the identity property of addition because it says plus in the middle. Had it said times 1, then it'd be the identity property of multiplication. Number 2, again, was number 9 on some of y'all's study guides. It says, is the given number a solution of the equation? So it's saying, is this number a solution? When we plug in that number, 13 minus 2, is it the solution, which means is it a true statement? 13 minus 2 is, in fact, 11. So that's a true statement. So yes is the answer to that one. Yes. So yes, it is a solution. Number 3, again, was number 10 on some of y'all study guides. It says solve the equation. 14 is equal to p plus 4. You want to get p isolated or p by itself. It says plus 4. If you have to, ignore the left side to where you're not even looking at that other number. It says p plus 4. You know how to undo plus 4, or the inverse operation of plus 4 is minus 4. Do the same to this side. 14 minus 4 is 10. So p is equal to 10. Same thing with number 4. C minus 8 is equal to 12. You want C equals by itself. Undo minus 8 by adding 8. If you add it here, it's going to be 20. And again, that one, number 4, was number 11 on some of y'all's sheet. Number 5, which was number 12, says k minus 5 is equal to negative 1. You want to get k all by itself. It says minus 5. You do the inverse, which is add 5. You do it there, do it here. Negative 1 plus 5, opposite sign. Subtract them. 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 is the higher absolute value. It's positive, so k is 4. Number 6, which was number 13 on some of y'all sheets, says q plus a negative 2. That's the same thing as q minus 2. Don't let it confuse you. Is equal to negative 14. And again, you wanted to do the same thing. You want to get q by itself. Undo minus 2 by adding 2. If you do something to one side, you have to do it to the other side. Opposite signs here, negative 14 and positive 2. So subtract them. 14 and 2, you get 12. And 14 is the higher absolute value. It's negative, so it's negative 12. Number 7, which was number 14, says p minus 29 minus 33 is equal to negative 77. Before you try to bring anything across the equal sign, you have to make sure each side is simplified, meaning this side, the left side. It says p minus 29 minus 33. Those are the same sign. Both of them have minus in front of them. So add those numbers up. 9 and 3 is 12. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus that one you carried is 6, and the common sign they had was negative, so negative 62. So now what we have is p minus 62 equals negative 87. Undo minus 62. We want to get p all by itself, so undo minus 62 by adding 62. If you add it to the left, add it to the right. Now you have opposite signs. Negative 87, positive 62. Subtract the opposite sign. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 6 is 2. And since 87 is a higher absolute value, it's negative. It's going to be negative 25. Now the next problem, number 8, is number 1 that I had fourth period right in. Third period does not have this one. written on their study guide. I want everybody to, if you have 1 through 7 in third or fourth period, cross it out, and this was your number 1 problem right here that I wanted you to do. Again, 1 through 7 on those study guides have more than 1 step on them. We haven't gotten to more than 1 step yet. That's the reason I took them off. I got 1 lesson ahead on this study guide than we actually got in class. So this one is number 8 on some of y'all's test, or number 1 if you wrote it in. If you didn't write it in now. 5Q is equal to 15. Undo 5 times Q. Remember, addition cancels out subtraction, and subtraction cancels out addition. Multiplication is canceled out by division. So this says 5 times Q, divide. We want to keep Q, divide by 5. If you want to divide the left, do the same to the right. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Number 9, the same thing, was number 2 that I had you write in. If you don't have anything for number 2, write it in now. 8,000 G is equal to 48,000. Same thing, just a whole bunch of zeros added on. You still want to get G by itself. It still says 8,000 times something, so divide by that 8,000. You divide the left, do likewise by the right. 48 divided by 8 is 6, but it's not 48 divided by 8. It's 48,000 divided by 8,000. So it's not 6, it's 6,000. Number 10, again, was number 3 that most of y'all wrote in fourth period. Third period, write it in now. Negative 7B is equal to 21. Again, you want to get B isolated all by itself. Undo negative 7 times B by dividing by negative 7. If you do it to the left, do it to the right. So positive 21 divided by negative 7. Opposite signs is going to be negative. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Remember, opposite signs has 1 negative. That's an odd number, and odd numbers are negative at the end. Number 11, again, was number 4 that fourth period copied down. W over 9, or W divided by 9. Same thing's true. We want to get W by itself. It says divided by 9. You cancel out division of 9 by multiplying by 9. If you multiply the left, multiply the right by 9, and it'll cancel out. 6 times 9 is 54. Number 12 was the last one that fourth period wrote down. Number 5. Third period, copy it now. Negative 5 is equal to C divided by 7. You still want to get C all by itself. It doesn't have that. It has C divided by 7. You cancel out division of 7 by multiplying by 7. If you do it to the right, do the same thing on the other side to balance it. A positive 7 times a negative 5, opposite signs is going to be negative at the end. 7 times 5 is 35. C is equal to 35. The rest of the problems are ones that should be on there. They'll just be, again, out of order for third and fourth period. They'll just be 2 behind for all of them. 13 was number 15 on y'all's study guide. Negative 3.2 minus a negative 3.1 plus 7.3. Anytime you see minus a negative, add a positive. Opposite signs right there, so subtract them. 3.2 minus 3.1 is 0.1, and since 3.2 is the higher absolute value, it was negative, it remains negative. So negative 0.1 plus 7.3, again, higher absolute value, they're opposites, you have to subtract them. 7.3 might. So opposite signs, subtract them. 7.3 minus 0.1 is 7.2. And since 7.3 is a higher absolute value, it's positive. It's positive 7.2. Number 14, again, was number 16 on some of y'all's. The absolute value of negative 19 minus 18, same signs, add them up. 18 plus 9 is 27. Keep the common sign negative. The absolute value of negative 27, or how far away is it from 0, is 27. 15 was number 17 on some of y'all's versions. 2.1 times a negative 1.6. A positive times a negative, we know at the end is going to be a negative. 2.1 times 1.6. 6 times 1 and 6 times 2 is 12. Placeholder, 1 times 1 and 1 times 2. When you put them together, 6, 2, and 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 move of the decimal, 2 moves of the decimal. So 1, 2. And since we said, again, a positive times a negative is a negative, it's going to be negative 3.36. Number 16, again, was number 18 on two of y'all's classes' versions. Negative 6 to the third power. That's not negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. It's 6 times 6 times 6. And then the negative comes down. 6 times 6 is the number 36. And 36 times 6 is 216. Then the negative comes down to make negative 216. Number 17, again, was number 19 on some of y'all's version, is 1/2 times 36m plus 46. That needs to be distributed. 1/2 times 36 is half of 36, which is 18m. And then 1/2 times 46, again, is half of that, which is plus 23. Negative 8 divided by negative 2. Same sign. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 8 divided by 2 is a positive 4. 11z minus 29z. Same like terms. Opposite signs though. One positive, one negative means you need to subtract them. 29 minus 11 is 18z. And since 29 is the higher absolute value, it's negative 18z. You keep that sign. Number 20 and 21 were 22 and 23 on the other version of the test. You name it a property for each of these. Number 20 is the one that's a little bit funny because it's negative 8 to begin and then it becomes 1. So what do you need to multiply negative 8 by to become 1? Or what do you need to do to cancel it out in the problem? That is the inverse property. Inverse. Because remember, multiplying by a number is the same thing as dividing. Dividing by a number is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. Number 21, again, was number 23. It says negative 7 plus 3 plus 10 is equal to negative 7 plus 3 plus 10. Notice the order doesn't change, just where the parentheses are or the groupings change. That is the associative property. And notice it is of addition since it's addition up there. Number 22, again, was number 24 on some of y'all's tests. Says write 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 using an exponent. There are 4 of them, 9 to the 4th power. Simple as that. Number 23, again, was 25 on a couple of y'all's versions. 2 over 9 divided by 3 over 2. You're dividing fractions. 2 over 9, when you divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. 3 over 2 becomes 2 over 3. If you multiply straight across, 2 times 2 is 4. 9 times 3 is 27. There's no number that goes into both 4 and 27. That is your simplified version. And number 24 says simplify 2 times 699 using the distributive property. And again, on some of y'all's tests, this was the last one, number 26. 2 times 699 is the same thing as 2 times 700 minus 1. That's what 699 is, 700 minus 1. So when you multiply 2 times 700, 2 times 7 is 14, so 2 times 700 is 1400. And 2 times negative 1 is minus 2. So 1400 minus 2 is 1398. That's how you do it using the distributive property.